Fusion top 8 of all time.
Yeah, we do have quite a whole lot of up-and-comers in the bracket today, actually, if I look at it now. So we got quite a whole lot of people on stream already, but yeah, folks like Synnister, Lemon Tea, Mr. Thugs, all New Jersey residents, but we have, like you said, a whole lot of people from out of town, like Lipton here from Florida today, and then you mentioned Lost Bane from Delaware. You know, we've got a pretty diverse group today, and this is not something that you see at every fusion, but typically this is something we want to welcome though. So happy to have all these invaders in bracket today.
Yeah, no, really exciting stuff for sure. So it looks like we're going to be getting into the first match here of top 8. It's going to be Obmcbob and Synnister. So Toon Link versus Ryu could be a fun one. Again, some characters you don't necessarily see every day, especially in Toon Link. A character that's like, in a game where there's so many characters, definitely one of those characters where it's just like, oh yeah, I kind of forget that he's here sometimes.
Yeah, although as someone who's been commentating Fusion pretty recently, I have gotten to see a whole lot of the Obmcbob Toon Link, and I have to say, it's really been coming along. You know, it was a character that, like, was kind of like, oh, okay, I wonder where this decision came from. But now you do see him taking some pretty big names in bracket with it. The Synnister though, pretty strong hitter today that we have with his Ken, obviously the good old reliable, and you know, he's been on a pretty steady improvement as well. So this is going to be a pretty fun set.
Yeah, the Shotos definitely provide a bit of a learning curve. It's definitely a matchup check if you're not familiar with how these characters interact. Obmcbob definitely going to have a bit of a uphill battle here. Down a stock already, but you know, trying to mount the comeback here. But again, unfortunate for him, you know, Ryu is just so strong when he's up close, and Toon Link, a character, is not doing a lot in terms of durability. It's not going to take much to KO him off the top. So.
Yeah, that's just a really unfortunate thing, as you can see here, that's the very first stock there that Obmcbob has taken so far. However, you can see that he has a whole lot of ground to cover going into this. You can see him kind of timing out different shore use here coming out from Synnister. However, when he is at the ledge, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do except get up attack here in this scenario. However, you need to be so careful when you are playing against the shield of a character like Ryu. Coming back up with the up B to recover. Now Synnister is putting some pressure here on Obmcbob. Obmcbob gonna get a little bit of damage here, going for the F tilts at the ledge, but not gonna get the edge guard here.
Yeah, and you see a steady diet of those bombs and Boomerang just trying to keep Ryu at bay here. Name of the game, and you see Synnister trying to use the Shakunatsu to try to just either disrupt the bomb or, you know, maybe get a poke in on Obmcbob. And again, lapping in percent. Had the right idea with the up air through the platform, but Synnister doing the right thing, teching in place instead of rolling onto the platform. So things are kind of slipping away from Obmcbob here, Pearl. You really got to lock in and, you know, and F is going to do wonders in helping to close the gap here, but 113 on the tab. Going to have to play a perfect stock here.
It's going to be difficult for Obmcbob to pull it off, especially when you are going to the upper platforms like that. I do appreciate him utilizing the bomb in order to disrupt Synnister's momentum, but that's so difficult. Going for the chain grab here off stage. Synnister's actually going to catch the bomb, not going to get any damage off of it. However, going to shield in place from a lot of these. Perfect parry, by the way, from that arrow the first time. Coming back in, and these two are just sort of playing around each other. You know, Obmcbob is the one really in disadvantage here. However, Synnister is the one willing to play the patient game in order to get in. Gonna roll in place to tech that. Oh, okay, wonderful jump there from Obmcbob, able to avoid an attack from Synnister, but that is not gonna be it though, because that Shoryu out of shield just gonna come out swinging, and that is the stock. First game going to Synnister.
Yeah, tough spot there for Obmcbob. Again, you're playing from so far behind. You have to really give yourself no room for error there. You know, misplaced a dash attack on shield. That's going to get punished. I am humbly requesting an Evo moment 37 if we're going to see Ryu on stream, since we're just post off of Evo this past weekend. But quite the start here for Synnister, looking to, again, advance one game closer, you know, to winners finals.
Yeah, as you can see here, I do think that Synnister has been pretty good at going for a lot of his starting options, utilizing the different Hadokens in order to get some started. But however, I do see him utilizing down tilt, which is really nice to see because that is such a good thing to do against a short character here, such as Toon. So really wonderful knowledge here, and then going in, and he's so good with these parries too. Going to avoid at that time, however, just so like amazing knowledge here coming out from Synnister.
Yeah, and Obmcbob doing the right things here. Again, even if he's not getting the the heavy follow-up, he's done a good job kind of reading which direction Synnister's going to tech in. Tatsu's going to come through there and set up another ledge trap situation here. And again, Ryu just touching your shield is so dangerous. You have to be so careful of your Obmcbob here as the gap is closed significantly here for Synnister. But Obmcbob going to get first blood here.
Absolutely wonderful stock there. As you could see earlier in the set, he was utilizing the bombs to sort of disrupt Synnister's movement, so it was really wonderful to see him be able to take a stock off of that. So hats off to Obmcbob for that stock, and it looks like he's going to try to pile on as much damage here as possible, throwing out his bombs as well as his boomerangs. Oh, but that end of that Tatsu not going to take the stock just yet. Obmcbob trying to recover here at the mercy of Synnister off stage. However, that is going to be the end. Quick Shoryuken there, going to take a stock here for Synnister.
Now we're going to get to see Obmcbob play with a bit of a lead here. And again, Toon is a really good character up close, but also really good at keeping you at a distance as well. You're seeing these bomb conversions working out so well for Obmcbob. Gains the back hit of a boomerang, doesn't get the strong hit. And there we go. Great weight on the Tatsu there. The forward air is going to close out the stock there. And kind of a reverse parallel of the first game there, Pearl, where Synnister is up big going into that last stock, and now it's Obmcbob with a huge advantage.
For sure, and it's absolutely the patience of Obmcbob that I think has lended itself so well to what he's been able to do. Going to get hit with that Tatsu, unfortunately. But the way that he seems to be so much more willing to wait for these movements from Synnister is excellent, because Synnister's putting himself in a lot of bad spots, and Obmcbob seems to be calling that out with like the fair that you saw there from the Tatsu, or utilizing his bombs and aerials in order to try to misdirect Synnister as to what it is that he's trying to do. Oh, not a enviable position to be shielding there versus the Ryu. Going to miss that Shoryu though, not going to lose the stock just yet. However, you can see Obmcbob knowing that he survived that by the skin of his teeth.
Yep, trying to close this one out. Air dodges back down to the platform, trying to find the big hit here. And again, he's just kind of playing with house money. Doesn't really have to commit to anything super crazy right now. It's Synnister that's on the back foot. How he's going to respond. That parry's a good way to do so. The Tatsu, again, not going to get the hitbox you want there. It's going to send Obmcbob to the other side of the stage. And a great catch right there at the up air. We're tied up at one game apiece.
Absolutely wonderful stuff here from Obmcbob going into game number 3. There have been a lot of adaptations that he's been able to make so far. Really, I do think that he has gotten the misdirection with regards to the bombs as well as his boomerangs down. I think that those have really lended themselves in his game plan, because he's been able to mix up a lot of Synnister's movements and then be able to go for his big attacks like that fair that we saw earlier. So absolutely wonderful stuff. I can't wait to see how Synnister is able to adapt to this game 3.
Yeah, we're going to go to small battlefield here, so still going with the bi-platform layout, but a bit of a shorter jump to the platform to the ledge, so could provide a an easier relief angle here for both players. But right now it is just a close-ish lead here, about 30% separating both players. But Obmcbob with great stage positioning as Synnister trying to fight from the outside in.
Yeah, for sure. As you can see here, Obmcbob sort of being set upwards, and that's not exactly where you want to be versus a character with a Shoryu such as Ryu. However, going into this, he does have the advantage, keeping him up with the up airs, just sort of trying to send him into oblivion. Not going to get that just yet, and actually that is going to be the stock. What a wonderful reversal there from Synnister.
And a great punish on that high up B as well. The strong down smash into the Shakunatsu. Just big damage, and now again, Toon loses a lot of his, the air in his sails when he is down a stock. You cannot play that safe distance game as you can. And here we go, the damage adding on again for Synnister. Kind of starting to run away with the second stock a little bit.
For sure. As you can see here, he knows that he has the options when his opponent is shielding, but that lingering hit of the up air though is going to take the stock at such an early percentage too. So absolutely coming back into this, we are nearly at an even percent. Obmcbob just needs to kind of run away for a little bit, but he's not even going to get the chance to do that. The Shoryu is going to take away his stock off the bat.
Yeah, and now we're back in a very similar situation in the first game where Synnister built up such a strong lead. It really puts the pressure on Obmcbob to kind of push the envelope here. And that's, you know, a game that Toon Link can do well sometimes, but obviously it's a character that functions better from a distance. And, you know, you're going to put yourself in some really unfavorable positions playing up close against a character like Ryu who can really mess you up if you're, you know, if you misspace any of your aerials.
Yeah, I really do think that Ryu is one of the worst characters to play up close just because he puts any shield pressure on you and either you've lost your shield or you've lost your stock. So this is really up to Obmcbob's timing coming in here that he's been able to put on a lot of damage, still some good parries here from Synnister as he's able to wait out a lot of these options. And then the timing with the oh my goodness. Okay, coming in for that big stock here. What a wonderful finish from Synnister. Coming out swinging, you know, a game 3 situation. But the way that he was able to turn that around in such a dominant fashion, really wonderful stuff.
Yeah, that was, again, that second game looked a little concerning. You know, you think maybe Obmcbob kind of figured out the formula there, but again, it's very similar to the first game. You build up a big lead, you force your opponent to kind of adjust their game plan, and Ryu's just a better character and it has to come to scrapping him close. That's a grown man fighting an elf. I want nothing to do with Ryu up close. Like, it is truly terrifying stuff.
For sure. I mean, there's so much that he can do, honestly, especially when Obmcbob is sitting in shield. He doesn't have a whole lot of strong out of shield options either compared to whatever it is that Synnister can do onto his shield, really. Anyways, hats off to Synnister. It was clear that he adapted pretty quickly. Obmcbob did some wonderful things as well. It's wonderful to see what a player such as him is able to do given the amount of time that he has in order to adapt. However, it really was Synnister's game.
Yeah, and Synnister's going to get a chance to, you know, fight for in you know, the winners finals here against either Jackal or Lipton.
Sorry, I have a fan.
Coming up next on stream, and Obmcbob gonna have to fight the old Zelda Ditto against Delta Force in losers quarterfinals. So again, quite the path ahead here, you know, for Ryu. So we'll see how it shakes out.
For sure. Honestly, we have been pretty blessed today, I think, with the stuff that we're going to be seeing on Fusion. It has some of your usual suspects. However, we do have some new competition in here to shake things up today. So I really do think that what we are going to be seeing is going to be novel, it's going to be fresh, and it's going to be so amazing to get this chance to watch it together.
Yeah, and again, we're entering the real busy period here for Smash in August, Pearl. August is historically usually a very jam-packed month. You know, tournaments like Shine in the past, there's Supernova this coming weekend. Collision is now happening in a couple of weeks. So everybody trying to get their last-minute licks in before we, you know, we really get into the grind of this latter half of the year. It feels weird saying that out loud. How is it August already?